Hey everybody, welcome back. Stacker here. In today's numismatic news and information for the 17th day of May 2023, I'd like to welcome you over to JM Bullion so we can look at those live spot prices, the American Silver Eagle availability, and the premiums on those Silver Eagles. But before that, huge shout out and a big thank you to all of our channel members. Really appreciate all y'all's support. Now it looks like gold is down $3.03 to $1997.94. Silver down 13 cents to $23.83. Platinum down or up $4.19 to $10.82.94, and palladium down $18.16 to $15.34.50. You're looking at an in-stock American Silver Eagle with a credit card PayPal payment of $46.69. That means the premium you're looking there is $22.86. At least I think that's what it was last time I checked. That's pretty serious, but it is going down. But how quickly will it go down if the United States Mint really, well, let's face it, they're really not producing too many American Silver Eagles for this year. And I'd like to see, kind of extrapolate what's going on here. Because look at this, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more months. Because normally they don't produce any in December. So about 6 more months of production. Yikes, really not that many more months to go. So over here to eBay. All right, I wanted to show you something. It's the Bullion American Silver Eagle from 2023. And I did show you what they cost for, just one round at $46.69, okay, and it's $44.82 if you pay with the e-check wire, and look at that, free shipping on orders of $199 or more, yada yada. Well, that's wonderful, but if you can go to eBay and do better than that, why wouldn't you? Okay, so here's one that's graded, all right, direct from this company here at an MS70 that's $56. Look at this one selling it. It's not graded, it's not in a capsule, but it is in a clamshell, and it says American Eagle Silver Bullion coin. All right. That's kind of cool. Here we go. Let's keep on keeping on. Here we go. 2023 West Point. See, when it's in a parentheses there, that means it's bullion, and it won't have a mint mark on the back of it. So getting an MS70, Mint State 70 is $55, basically. You're looking at a Mint State 69 is $44.58, which is clearly less than $2 less than you're going to be paying at the online bullion dealer. So that's kind of incredible. So what would you rather do? Buy a graded coin with a Mint State 69? Or would you buy bullion that you'd have to buy a capsule for and all the holders and then pay for shipping? Yeah, it makes no sense, does it? Not so much. Now let's keep on keeping on. This video is really, I had to wrap my head around it a couple times to try and figure out what it is I'm trying to tell you. And I went to this particular article from Kitco. All right, this is from April 19 by Niles Christensen. And I might have actually talked about this article before, but I had to come back to it. All right, because it's about, well, let's just read the title and I'll get to it. Silver supply deficit reaches record high. Could fuel price growth. Silver Institute report. Now, I'm basically going to be looking at the Silver Institute report and what it said, but I'm also going to be looking at what it didn't say, because I think that's really important, because let's face it, it's what people don't say or what organizations don't say that we should also be focusing on. Now, can you think of times when people didn't say anything, when people needed their support? Yeah. So maybe they're not there with support. I don't know why I said that. Either way, let's get on to it. Niles Christensen says, with silver prices holding above $25 an ounce, we know they're at 23 and change now, investors could finally be waking up to a massive imbalance in the precious metal supply and demand fundamentals as demand continues to outstrip supply, according to the latest report from the Silver Institute. Wednesday, the Institute published its 2023 annual World Silver Survey. According to the research, silver saw its most significant market deficit on record, hitting 237.7 million ounces. Metals Focus, the firm behind the research, noted that the deficits in 2021 and 2022 have more than offset the cumulative surpluses of the previous 11 years. That's incredible. Now let's keep on keeping on. Silver demand was unprecedented in 2022, and we don't say that to try and be sensational. That is the only way to describe the market, Neiman said. The silver market has entered a new paradigm of deficits that kicked off in 2021. Looking ahead, the silver market Metals Focus expects silver to post another sizable deficit, even if it is down from last year's record highs. Analysts expect the solid demand will create a market deficit of 142.1 million ounces for 2023. That's incredible, folks. And like I said yesterday's video, will the United States Mint be able to fulfill all of their obligations, at least the stated limits, on their coins for 2023, and I don't think they will be able to. It says here the report showed that the industrial demand continues to dominate the marketplace, even if investor interest drives prices. The report said that industrial demand rose to a record high of 556.5 5 million ounces last year, up 5% from 2021. Metals Focus expects another record year with industrial demand rising 4% to 576.4 million ounces. That's a big deal, folks. Newman noted that silver, I don't know if it was Neiman or Newman, either way, noted that silver's industrial demand is expected to remain healthy even as global economic activity faces the growing threat of recession. He pointed out that green energy transition and the evolution of green electric vehicles will continue to drive the demand for silver. Yes, but what aren't they talking about here, folks, right? Let's consider that while we read the rest of this article. For 2023, physical investment demand for silver is expected to be 309 million ounces, down 7% from last year. Even if bar and coin demand is down from last year, it is still well above the pre-pandemic levels, he said. Looking at prices, Newman said that while industrial demand is expected to provide a floor for prices, right, a minimum, it will still be driven by investment demand, which could wane through the second half of the year, okay? So what they're saying is, yeah, the interest isn't so intense and white hot as it was in the past, okay? It says here, Metals Focus forecasts see the silver price move broadly sideways over the next few months. All right, this was in April, May, June, July, right? All right. So before suffering liquidations in the second half of the year. So sell-off. All right. By quarter four, we expect the price to trade in the low $18. Whoa. This will result in a full year average of $21.30, 2% lower year over year, the analyst said in the report. Well, that's all well and good, but what didn't they talk about? Because let's face it, this report was written on April 19th. Well, we had Silicon Valley Bank happen on, I think, March 10th. So they had clearly a month to work that into the writing of this article here, but they didn't. And what did the bank failure do? Well, it raised those prices to about $25 an ounce. And it's funny how they didn't recognize that. So are we still going through some tumultuous times in our banking? I would think so. And look at this. Bank executives blame panic depositors for Silicon Valley signature failures. It's your fault. Isn't that wild? It's the people's fault who were trying to protect themselves and keep their money in their own hands instead of when the bank goes under. And well, you see the point. You're trying to protect yourself, and they're blaming you. That's not very cool. Now let's keep on keeping on. There's a larger story at play here. So this is NPR, and I've talked about this before, and it was another article. Look at this one. This is May 16th. That was just yesterday. Does the U.S. have too many banks? Remember what I told you, folks? They're going to cut down our banks to about, what, 5 to 10 probably, maybe 20, I don't know. But this is it. This is what's going on. And this is an 8-minute listen, so you can kind of don't have to worry about it. It's First Republic Bank right there. It says the failures of Silicon Valley Bank, Signature Bank, and First Republic have put a spotlight on the surprising number of banks in the United States. To put that scale into perspective, Canada has about 80 banks compared to over 4,000 that operate in the U.S. Why would they say that without talking about the population of Canada? It's interesting how they slant things in their direction they want to. You can clearly see what they're trying to do here. All right. They say today on the show, we explain why the U.S. has so many banks. We go through the arguments for and against that proliferation. Yeah, that's NPR saying that. That's government-sponsored news, at least according to Twitter, I think. Now let's go to the next thing here. Oh, yeah, look at this. The debt ceiling. They didn't talk about the debt ceiling crisis in the silver supply. Yeah, that's just one more thing, right? One more thing, like Forrest Gump says, one more thing. And look at this. The Google team put together this fancy little layout. So if you type in debt default, they put a little like Wikipedia link here and a nice little title up top. And, so you could look through these things and see what's what on this process, okay, of this crisis. And what does it mean? I don't know. Nobody does. Nobody can wrap their head around this. And I think it's just became a political chicken probably. Now, let's keep on keeping on because this gets more exciting by the day. Bam. Oh, yeah, here we go. This is Iran. Look up Iran on Google. No fancy anything's here. No Wikipedia links. But it says here, top Russian energy diplomat visits Iran, wants more cooperation in oil and gas. It looks like they are talking about a railroad going between the two countries. And I don't know if, now we know Iran is a really big producer of oil, but they don't have any refining capability. Okay, so they have to send their oil out and then get it back in as gasoline. Isn't that weird? Wasn't that wild? But that's not the story. Check this out. And you don't really hear about this story. Check this out. Bam, I put Iran and oil. Whoops. What? Check this out. 2 days ago, Iran seizes third oil tanker, and the U.S. is boosting the military presence in the Gulf. Yikes! Look at this. U.S. takes steps to boost naval presence as Iran gives its hand on another oil tanker a day ago. What? Now that's ramping up over there. I'm telling you, there's a lot of stuff coming to a head right about now. This is incredible. Now, it gets even more exciting because this is an election year. Kind of a big one, okay? A lot of stuff going on. But what normally happens during an election year? Gas prices get cheaper, food gets cheaper, precious metals aren't as expensive. Maybe, but with all the things that are going on here that I've just showed you, maybe the election doesn't matter so much as it did. Now, why did I tell you all this? Well, I think Yahoo has the answer. It says right here. I'm going to go to yahoo.com. All right, this is written by Michael McKenzie, May 15th. It's a 5-minute read, and I'm not going to read the whole thing. I like how they got the advertisements over there. It says debt limit default risk is higher than ever. How can you safeguard your wealth? Well, let's go ahead and read this, okay? It has a little chart here. In 2011, the S&P fell 70% due to debt limit standoff, and we are in a debt limit standoff now. And could the markets, well, could they fall almost at 20% like it did in 2011? Maybe. Now it says here, this is out of Bloomberg, but Yahoo Finance is pushing it. The risk of a U.S. debt default is greater than ever, threatening to tip global markets into a brand new world of pain. Yikes, that doesn't sound very pleasant and exciting. For investors, there are few places to hide other than the oldest hedge in the book. There it is, folks. Gold, G-O-L-D, G-old. There you go. And it says precious metals by far the top pick for those seeking protection in case Washington's game of chicken over the debt ceiling ends in a crash, according to Bloomberg's latest Markets Live pulse survey. More than half of the finance professionals said gold is what they would buy if the U.S. government fails to honor its obligations. And would you even wait that long until they failed to meet those obligations? Because what would the price be then once it was failed? All right. Even more striking is the shortage of alternative hedges. The second most popular asset to buy in the event of a default, according to the global survey of 637 respondents, was U.S. Treasuries. There's something of an irony to that, given it's the very thing America would probably be defaulting on. Yikes. So yeah, I mean, if the number one thing is gold and the number two thing is treasuries, and that's the one they're having an issue with, well, that seems pretty clear. But it's worth bearing in mind that even pessimistic analysts see bill holders getting paid just late, though. Getting paid, but just late, or if ever. And that is in the case of the most fraught debt crisis in previous years. Treasuries rallied even as the U.S. had its top credit rating removed by Standard & Poor's. Yikes. Now, traditional haven currencies like the Japanese yen and the Swiss franc have had some fans, but each was less popular than the U.S. dollar, or perhaps more strikingly, Bitcoin, regarded as some investors as a kind of digital gold. And let's face it, if you ever look at pictures of Bitcoin, they paint it gold. Now think about that. Now, I will leave a link in the description for this particular article. I'm not going to read everything, but it is interesting. And it is by Bloomberg, so I got to take it with a grain of salt. All right. Now, let's head over here to plus ones. Bam. This is Psalm 19:14. It says, also from intentional sins, restrain your servant. Let them not rule me. Then I shall be perfect, and I'll be cleansed of great transgression. All right. It's basically, I think what that means, and I had to help with the Google machine, do not let my evil inclination overpower me. You know, you ever see that movie, Animal House, with the devil on the shoulder and the angel on the shoulder, and which one do you listen to, right? Remember that? That's that. Now it says, the Lord assists me, those who yearn to do what is right and proper. So if you're always going, man, let me do what's right, let me do the right answer, yeah, I think you're going to get that aid that you're asking for. Now let's head over here to 395.99.9 KOIN Coin News Radio. This is the Cars, and this is Drive. This is good stuff. Good stuff. You remember this? This was amazing. Now, I want to thank you all for watching. Thanks for dropping by. Don't forget that like button. And if you do like what you're seeing, please subscribe to the channel. It's free. Stacker out.